What is up, YTPC? Andrew here, aka Bluefin Piper, coming at you. Pretty nice Saturday afternoon here in New Jersey. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone out there in the YTPC is doing well, and hope you're all having a good weekend, good week. All right, wanted to jump on, do a little bit of a cameo from Finn. Wanted to do a little bit of a recap from the Chicago Pipe Show, which I kind of made a last minute decision to get out to, and got out there a couple weeks ago and didn't get a chance to make this video just due to after I got back, things were crazy with travel for work. So finally getting to sit down and just wanted to give a quick chat, talk about some highlights for me, and of course share some of the haul from the show. Before I do that, a little housekeeping. I am smoking my Allen Kip Tree Bark Lovat. Really awesome rustication that Alan's doing with his pipes. And in it, I have some of the new GLP's Geometry. This is Virginia Oriental in his new Zeitgeist series. And I actually did a first impressions review of this blend for those of you that might be interested. I didn't get around to posting it yet because I made it, and then with the craziness of getting ready for the show and everything, I didn't get around to editing it and posting it. So hopefully I'll do that this weekend, get that out. So if you're interested, you can check it out. So just talking a little bit about the show, I want to do a little recap, some highlights, and of course, first thing I'll say again is just that like always, the best part of the show and the highlight, the number one highlight is always getting to hang out with friends, kind of old and new, and sitting, sharing tobacco, and there was plenty of that, so we all had a great time. And I got to meet up with a bunch of friends from the Speakeasy Forum, and I know there were a lot of folks there. Some YTPCers were there. Jeff the Chef, I have to give a shout out to, who was kind enough to share some 1970s era Edgeworth slices, which was amazing. So thank you, Jeff. And I know Eric, Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, was there, though I only ran into him for like 5 minutes. We didn't get a chance to really sit down and have a smoke, unfortunately. And a number of other folks were there. But yeah, in general, just that experience is always great. And I'll just quickly say, for those that may be familiar with the old show venue, that being at the Marriott, I went to the show in 2019 at the old Pheasant Run, and that was kind of at the very end of its decline there, and it definitely showed it. So being at the Marriott was a major upgrade as far as the hotel itself goes. The tent was a little smaller. I think it's like half the size of the old tent, which but it worked out fine. It was a little packed at certain times of the day, but in general there was always a seat to be had, so that was fine. And then as far as the show goes, I'll talk a little bit about my highlights for the show, and I just in general, a thank you to the Chicago Pipe Club folks that ran the show. They did a great job putting the show on, as always. And I think I was as far as kind of the size of it goes, they had it broken up into 2 rooms again this year. I understand they did that last year, and it was okay. They had, of course, folks you would expect there, like smoking pipes and tobacco pipes and Sutliff and Vermont Freehand and Raw Crafted, and a number of shops were there. Arlington Cigar pipe and cigar shop was there, but it definitely felt like it was smaller than it was in the past, and it didn't have as much of the kind of big name pipe brands there. For me, for example, I was a little disappointed that the showing from Castello wasn't there. And as I understand from Mike, he said they just didn't have the inventory to do the show, which I guess makes sense if your folks are still recovering from COVID. But there was a lot of Savinellis there from resellers, but Savinelli wasn't there. So a bit disappointed just in general. It wasn't that kind of massive straight grain or just pipe overload that that I saw in 2019. But still plenty of pipes to be had, and a lot of really cool artisan makers were there, of course. So certainly enough to drain your your money from you if you wanted to. The other thing I'll say, there were a few folks selling some tobacco, and there were some deals to be had, of course, and I'll show a few of those in a minute. But in general, I think the kind of the the hidden market, so to speak. Vintage tobacco sales that used to go on in Chicago didn't seem to be there this year. I know a few of my friends were there, and they know a lot of people and are into that kind of very old vintage tobacco market. And they didn't have any kind of room sales or anything like that they've had in the past, which was a bit of a bummer, at least not that we were aware of. So, but talk a little bit about kind of the highlights for me. Again, other than getting a chance to see friends, I would say of course, from an artisan standpoint, there were a few different carvers that I was really excited to get a chance to see. One of them was Bruno Nuttons, who was there. And if you don't know Bruno, I'll put a link to his Instagram page below. Bruno's an amazing carver from France, and he's been putting out some really incredible pipes. And I've been wanting to get one of his Twiggies for a long, long time. So I got a chance to see him on Friday at the early sale in the tent, in the smoking tent, and he had all of his pipes out. And I was looking at his pipes, and funny enough, there were some folks from, I think from China there that showed up, and they wanted to buy a bunch of his pipes, and they just started grabbing them. And of course, I was nervous, so I had to immediately kind of put some pipes in front of me to keep him from taking all of his pipes. But I did end up finding a really nice pipe that I was really happy with. So I'm going to show that to you guys right now. One of the pipes that I got at the show. So here you go. This is a Twiggy, and it's kind of Dublin, beautiful, beautiful pipe. It's got the plateau top. Really nice clean plateau, awesome grains on this pipe. Cool, and I really enjoy, I really love this Dublin look where you've got kind of the sloping rim and beautiful stain, as I said, really nice grains. So yep, so that was pipe purchase number one, and definitely one of the pipes I went there wanting to get. And then of course, our friend Jay Mouton was there, and Jay, I love getting a chance to chat and see Jay. He had, I think, 5 or 6 pipes, all beautiful pipes. And one of them in particular, he had posted ahead of time that he had done with an abalone shell inlay, which, for those of you that haven't heard me talk about it, I love abalone shell. I actually use it when I used to make custom fishing rods. Still make them on the side, but not just for myself or friends. And I use abalone shell underneath the guides, which is just really comes out really beautiful. So I've been interested in wanting to do something like that. I've been thinking for a while myself about trying to do some tampers with the abalone shell that I have. And Jay ended up starting to make some pipes now with abalone shell. And I, of course, went there wanting to look at that pipe, knowing that if it was there, I was going to snag it. So here we go. Jay's got these beautiful leather bags now that he's using. Really nice. And in it, and I'll show you this gorgeous Jay Mouton. Kind of Danish-inspired kind of ball, apple kind of shape. But really gorgeous, and I'll say too, I don't know if it'll come out, but kind of just down for a sec, kind of the blast on this pipe, just as you kind of turn it, it just pops out more and more as I look at it. And I'll show you a military mount, and there is the gorgeous abalone shell inlay. Kind of see it from the side profile, but just absolutely beautiful. And one of those pipes that, as you're sitting here smoking it, you can't stop yourself from just staring at that beautiful abalone, and in the sunlight it just shines. It's really awesome. And of course the pipe smokes amazing. Just work of art. I can't say enough good things about Jay. We all know Jay, and he's just a master craftsman. So I was super excited to get that. And before I forget, I also have to give a shout out to Peter Piper from New York City. Those of you may know Peter from Instagram. It was great to get a chance to hang out with Peter for the weekend. Hadn't been on quite a few Instagrams with him on Instagram Live with Phil Rivara and Everett lately, and so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so picked up those 2 pipes, and those were the only pipes I picked up. I will say I saw a few Briarworks pipes that caught my eye, but I managed to not pull the trigger. There was also absolutely gorgeous Il Ceppo pipe from Smoking Pipes that they had that caught my eye, and I managed to say no. But yeah, so enough pipes that you could definitely do damage. All right, as far as the tobacco goes, I was just going to show, as I mentioned, there was at least one person there selling some McClelland vintage tobaccos, and had some really good deals. It was I think like $40 for 50-gram tins, which is a really good price. I think right now it's probably $20 to $30 under the current going rates on Pipe Stud, or who knows what on Timbits. So managed to pick up some tins from him, and I was limited by my carry-on luggage, so I couldn't go too crazy. But I did pick up a tin of, let's see, this is 2012. I picked up 2 tins of 2012 Brindle Flake from McClelland's, and 2 tins of 2014 Pebble Cut. And I probably shouldn't say this, but the Brindle Flake, I think, flies way under the radar. If you get it old enough, it's got the Ashton's name on it, although it's made by McClelland's. And I have an old tin from, I think, 96 that I opened that's just incredible. So I got stocked up a bit on the Brindle Flake. And the Pebble Cut is Virginia Oriental from McClelland. It's a lot like Tudor Castle, very similar to Tudor Castle if you've had that. So really, really good blend. So I was excited to get a few of those. And it was funny, I saw Brian Levine there, of course, and Brian was walking away with his stack of 10 of the Bayou slices that he loves so much. So I did mention to him, I said, good to see you're staying true to form. So, all right, what else from the tobacco side? So the other things that were interesting to me, highlights, I did get a chance to chat a bit with Tobacco Pipes, and if you're not familiar, they're doing mystery tobaccos now that you can buy every month, and they have a Facebook page that you can post your thoughts on. And I've been doing that for the last few months. It's been a lot of fun. I kind of miss doing those mystery reviews. And if folks are interested, I was thinking maybe I'll start posting them to my YouTube channel. But I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, they were there, and I got a chance to chat with the guy that does all the reviews for them, which was a lot of fun. Greg Rosenberg, I believe. It was nice to see him and chat with him. And then Sutliff was there, and really the main thing I wanted to chat with you guys about, if you haven't seen it already, they did that really, really well-received Per Jensen collaboration on the Birds of a Feather this past year. I think there's one last one, maybe Paradoxical, I think, is coming out in the next week or two. But they're going to have a new collaboration coming out, and it's interesting. It's called Action Force, and the tin art is actually almost kind of like anime / Marvel superhero style, like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of stuff, and really cool and really awesome sci-fi tin art. Although it was interesting talking to CEO Sutliff, really nice guy, about the fact that his lawyers were a little concerned that they were kind of catering towards younger kids, but I guess because it's a limited run, they're thinking they're going to be okay. But it's definitely in that questionable space. But tin art looks amazing, and the other interesting thing is that they are going to do a collectible coin in 1 out of every 10 tins. So first time that something like that's going on, and interesting to see how that catches on. And the coins are really cool. And if you want to see the tobacco and the tin art and the coins, I have all the pictures of all that you can see at the end. But the really cool thing was they ended up for, I think, $5. They gave out samples of all the upcoming blends. And so, they gave you a big pouch with all the samples. And there's, I think, 6 of them, 6 different blends that'll be coming out. And so that was really cool. I have not smoked any of these yet, so I'm looking forward to trying them. But maybe when I do them, I'll post some videos on them if you're interested. But it was nice to get a chance to get early access to some of these blends and get to try them. I know quite a few of them have the stoved Catarini in it, some with some Rustica in it. So definitely looking forward to trying those. And then also the SPC, Seattle Pipe Club, was there, and they have a new blend coming out called Down Yonder, which is going to be with stoved Brazilian Virginia leaf in it. And they were giving out samples of that. You kind of see the tin art for that. So that was that was kind of cool. They were giving those out for free, so I got a sample of that I'm looking forward to trying, and I'll see how it is. So that's pretty much the highlights for me on the tobacco side as far as what we got at the show. And I'll just wrap up by talking a little bit about some of the vintage stuff that we got to try. And I will say my friend brought an old tin of Kingfisher, the old small square tin. And other than the fact that the tin art is still my favorite tin art of all time, the tobacco really sadly blew my mind. It was amazing. It's a Virginia Burley, and it was incredible, which saddens me because it really makes me want to get some now, knowing how hard it is to get. So I don't know, I'm going to need to chat with Martin to get hooked up on the notifications whenever that comes out again. Who knows when? I think they release it very rarely. So the Kingfisher, highly recommend trying that. Awesome, especially if you like Virginia Burleys. Amazing smoke. We opened a tin, another friend of ours opened a tin of McClellan number 13. I think that was from maybe the 70s, and was like 79, maybe the first release they had of that in the with the wax seal paper cover on it. That was a Virginia Oriental, I think maybe Latakia in it. Was amazing to try. Tobacco was in great condition. Was a little muted and mellow, so it wasn't as good as I think maybe we had hoped it would be, but still really fun to try. And last, I would say I opened a tin, of course, of the McClellan 22 from, mine was from 93. Old tin that I've had for a while now, and I knew ahead of time shaking it that it probably was compromised. And we made a video. If you haven't seen it, I posted it on my channel, and put a funny caption on, I think, when good tobacco goes bad. But we opened it up, and yeah, it was bone dry, sadly. But I will say that smoking it very slowly, because it smoked like tinder, burned like tinder. But if you smoked it very slowly, still got some really nice Virginia flavors. You just had to be really careful because it could really bite you because of how fast and hot it could burn. But if you really sipped on it, you could get some flavors. So I'm rehydrating it right now, and if you're interested, I'm going to try to do a giveaway. So I think what I'll do is I rehydrate it. Hopefully it'll come out okay. I'm actually going to try rehydrating it a couple different ways. One way I'm doing it now, just in a sealed container with some with a little cup of distilled water. And I'm also going to do another, I think a little bit of it I'm going to put in another container with maybe a Boveda or something to see the difference between the two methods. But when that's done, maybe in a few weeks, when I feel like it's in a good shape, I'll make another video and I'll do a little giveaway for folks that might be interested in trying that. So stay tuned. All right, well, I've been rambling on for quite a while. It's a little longer video here, but really wanted to share my thoughts on the show. Had a fantastic time. If I didn't mention you, I mean, for those folks that I did get to see, thank you. It was great to get to meet folks, and I won't name names because I know I'll forget people, but just a really, really awesome time, as always, getting to share smokes with friends. So highly encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to get to a show, come to Vegas. I'm definitely going to be in Vegas. A lot of the YTPC folks will be in Vegas. It's going to be a great time. If you can make it, definitely try to. And with that, I'm going to wrap this one up and wish you all tight lines, happy smokes. Take care.